try to go to switch to a more raw food, fruit-based lifestyle, but have struggled because you just don't know how much to buy. And it's difficult too because a lot of these fruits ripen and go bad a lot quicker. You can't just buy a bunch of bananas and have them for months on end like you can for rice. So one of the biggest hurdles people have, and what I had when I first went raw, was like I just didn't know how much to buy. I didn't know how much to eat. I didn't know how much to buy, and it was a very, very challenging experience. And it took me a long time to figure it out. So this is the raw food shopping guide, and I've made this PDF. I've made a simple one, and I have a separate video on explaining the simple one, but I'm going to explain, this is the expanded version of the PDF, just with a little bit more information on it. Okay, so basically this is just designed to help you quickly shop for food, help you to shop quicker for food, and to try to get an idea of how much you need to eat at a meal and how much you need to buy for a week. Okay, so on this category here, obviously I have all the fruits, all the food on one side. Mostly it's going to be fruit. Down at the bottom, I put some celery and spinach, cucumber, tomato, avocado, almonds. So I have some greens and some fatty foods down at the bottom. Okay, second category. So one big thing too is food combining. So we want to try to eat foods when we're eating multiple fruits. We want to eat the same categories together or like categories. Okay, I have another video on that as well. Okay, the second column, or third column, calories per 100 grams. So in 100 grams of food, you can see how much fruit or how many calories each one has. So if you don't have a food scale, I would definitely recommend one because you can always weigh your food to get an exact amount to making sure you're eating enough. Okay, and then here, this is the percentage of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So basically what this number means is an apple has 95% of the calories from carbohydrates, 2% from protein, and 3% from fat. So you can basically go down and just see the macronutrient breakdown of all the food. Okay. Next column is the peak season. So the peak season is just when they're in the best peak possible. It'll depend on where you live. If you have imported food, like I get food from Mexico, so the season kind of changes. But this is just a rough guide on when these fruit foods are the most optimal. Obviously, you can usually get them a little bit before and a little bit after. And some of these foods you can get year-round, but because they grow them inside or foreign, and but more or less it's just a rough guide on when these foods are in peak season. So next column is what 500 calories looks like. So I wanted to give you, if you're eating 2,000 calories a day and you're eating 4 meals a day, this is pretty much what one meal would look like. So 10 medium apples, 5 medium bananas. And then what I did with some of the foods is I tried to do it so you don't have to weigh everything, so you can just buy it in containers, right? Because if you're at a grocery store and you're like, okay, look, I need to buy 750 grams of blueberries or blackberries. I'm like, well, how much is that? How much is a container usually? So typically, as an example, blackberries, they come in 340 gram or 12-ounce containers. So roughly 3 of those would make a meal. When I buy blueberries at Costco, they come in 500 grams, which is roughly 18-ounce containers. So 2 of those would roughly make a meal. Same thing for like the cantaloupe. Roughly 2 large cantaloupe, 15 centimeter, 6-inch diameter. Okay, and then same thing for another example like grapes. Half a 3-pound box is roughly going to be 500 calories. Okay, whoops. And then on the far side over here, what I have is basically what 7 meals at 500 calories per meal. So if you wanted to have, say, apples, enough apples for 1 week, so you could have 1 meal of apples every day, you basically would need to buy 3 pounds or 6 3-pound bags of apples to make a whole week. Roughly, if you wanted to have a week of bananas every day, you would need about 35 bananas, and then so forth, right? So if you wanted 14 containers of blueberries, that would be enough for 1 meal a day for a whole week at 500 calories. Now, obviously, if you're eating more, like for me, I eat 3,000 calories a day, so I'm going to almost double or triple a lot of these numbers. So it really depends. You're just going to have to play around with it, but I'm just trying to help you make this easier because it was difficult for me. And the more resources that are available, the more we can be successful. And the more successful we can be, the faster we can run, the more weight we're going to lose. And yeah, so it really just depends. And obviously depends where you shop because, you know, not all the sizes of containers are going to be the same. But it's just a rough guide. And then down here at the bottom, I have some information on how to calculate how many calories you might need to eat per day. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And if you're interested in learning more about raw foods and how they can help your performance as a runner or a triathlete, essentially when we eat more raw food, we decrease the amount of energy spent on digestion, which means we have more energy for training, which means we just go and start running faster. Raw foods also help us lose weight. You know, people can lose up to, you know, 15, even 20 pounds in 30 days when they switch to this diet. So if you're interested in that, join my free Facebook group for lean runners and triathletes, and you can get access to all my free PDFs and all my free mini courses. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next video.